done justice to everything I had in mind. I also want to request that in a subsequent edition, we should invite, apart from this, the local government chairman of all the kingdoms of Ogoni. They should be part of it. The councillors should be part of it, because when we are talking about empowerment, we are not talking about education only, going to school. I want to tell you straight, education do not guarantee you job employment. Nobody, don't go to school again and see that when you come back, they are going to employ you. Your education should be quality education that will give you the knowledge to be self-employed. That way, you will make impact easily. You call the councillors that they are imposing on us. Let them be here, because when we are talking about youth empowerment, it is their business. They must invest in the youth so that we can have a safe and secure tomorrow. We must also talk about the CDC chairman of the communities. We are talking about empowerment of the youth. These people should know what we are after, we are up against. Then, like I said, we will have to be rotating this program, maybe from one local government to another, to make it fully Ogoni. I want this to be part of your planning, and I want to be part of the program. So henceforth, I am going to be part of it. So whatever it is, let us all be part of it and join hands to give our people, our youth, what they really need to have to be the leaders of tomorrow. Before I go, sorry, I don't have all the time. Before I go, I want us to address the issue of cultural rebirth. We have sold our culture. Even in marriages, there is no Ogoni culture in our marriages. It's either we borrow it from Igbo or we borrow it from the riverine. There is nothing like Ogoni culture in our marriages. They are taking lists and nobody is coming to marry again after taking lists. There was nothing like taking lists in our culture. That has to be addressed. Our traditional rulers are here. I also want to talk about our language. One serious thing that is dividing us as Ogoni kingdom or as a Ogoni people. The man who was talking about Eleme and Ogoni. There's something like that. Is it only when we will fight against Okrikans that will become one? I had wished he were to be here. I would have asked him, where is Eleme? Eleme is one of the kingdoms of Ogoni. And one thing that differentiated us or divided us is this language barrier. Our languages should be spoken at public gathering. Our languages should be taught in schools, and let all of us understand ourselves. If we do that, we are one and the same, and we are home and dry. Thank you very much.
Please, a round of applause to the Dr. Peter Bolu. Thank you so much, Daddy, for the points you've raised, and I think we've noted it. Our language is very important. Distinguished guests, because we're running on the fast lane, you will permit me at this juncture to make welcome for the next speech. This one is powerful. I want to read out the topic. How we got here, the errors and the way forward. This will be done exactly by His Royal Highness Mene Kadilo Kabari. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as it comes up. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping.
Bene Ogoni. Bene Ogoni. Bene Ogoni. I won't stand on existing protocols. I can see faces. I see great professors. I see fathers that are all resource persons and special guests. I see a veteran. So I stand to be corrected on how we got here and the errors. There, O.P. Agara. I see Professor Micah. I see my brother and friend, Akeyo himself, Kabari. We did Ogoni Generation Next project together, and we have evolved. We have evolved from observers to participants. I want to, firstly, on behalf of myself, ancient community, and the change agents in Ogoni today, thank you for inviting me. I want to congratulate Valor and his team for putting this together, and against all odds, sustaining it. Many would have thought that after the first edition, this summit will be no more. Many would have thought with no government support or corporate support, this will be no more. But what I see here is determination. What I see here is being very intentional, like the first speaker said. What I see here is taking responsibility. What I see here is the future. What I see here is correcting the errors, as have been asked to speak. I will use myself as a case study. Before you is a young man who lost his biological father at 3 years old. I am the son of late Dr. Lede Barry Kabari. He was the first with a PhD in mechanical engineering in the UK. He was called by Ogoni leaders at the time. That is how Ogoni was. To be in the Rivers State University, then College of Science and Technology. And the essence was to ensure that our people go to school. Opportunity came, he was moved to Alaja, Delta Steel Company. The same Ogoni leaders at the time called him back to be Secretary Port Harcourt State Movement. There was collabo like you have today, NPN and NPP. He was made ambassador designate. And everything he was a product of unity, a product of purpose amongst the Ogonis. When mention was made of the Polytechnic, my mother was also there in Warri. And when the leaders at the time felt, bring that young widow back home, she was the first chief technologist in the then River State Polytechnic Bori. Now, I'm relating it to the topic. Where did we get it wrong? And how can we correct the errors? If you were in my shoes, will you not feel indebted? Will you not feel committed to Ogoni? Will you not? You will. That is how Ogoni was. We were one. We were one because our leaders could, despite party, despite politics, despite interest, they could think Ogoni. We were such that communities could gather to train people. Many of our fathers today were products of community sponsored or motivated education. So am I wrong? But how many communities today see to your education? How many? In fact, some of you feel the challenge on your education is not just from your community but from your family. Because if you walk to an uncle, you walk to a brother, or you walk to someone from your community, do you get the desired support? I still use myself as an example. It was my father's brother, the late Barikura Kabari, who took it upon himself with my mother, and well-meaning family and friends that saw me through. My grandfather, the then paramount ruler of Barako, insisted that so as not to make this child feel that the death of his father, as said then, was by his brothers and by the community. Any school the father would have wanted him to go is where he will go. That is how I went to Federal Government College, Abuja. That is how I went to Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. That was Ogoni. But today, where are we? Now, the second is, where did we get it wrong? You see this question asked by Valor and Esteem, this question asked by the organizers of Ogoni Youth Empowerment Summit, is the singular reason why we used to do Ogoni Generation Next Project, my brother and I, and many of us. But that is the singular reason why the whole discussion about oil, the whole discussion about politics, I used to be on the radio every other day. Have you heard me talk? Have you heard me talk? No. Lately, no. I am now convener Ogoni Beyond Oil and Politics. BOP. Who knows what BOP means? In Ogoni. BOP. The BOP no. To tie together. The bond to bring together is because I have seen that oil and politics are the greatest catalysts for division that we have in Ogoni today. Oil and politics. Oil and politics. Because of oil, money. Because of political supremacy, a whole generation of leaders lost. Ogoni 4, Ogoni 9, they were our best. 30 years after, have we recovered? No. We have not. I say I use myself as an example because the march to Mogo Field, as a toddler, I was there. The 1/10 contribution, I was there. My mother was a former president. I was there. I have seen it all. Now, the 3 richest men in the world, at least we know of Elon Musk. We know of Bill Gates. Who? Jeff. Is any of them the owner of Shell? Is any of them the owner of Total? Is any of them the owner of Ajib? They have moved beyond oil. Is any of them the president of the United States of America? At least that's the highest political office, if not the Secretary General of UN now. Is any of them any of these? The greatest in our world today are people that have used their brains. They are people that have what you have. They don't have 2 heads. And that is why we must go back to the drawing board. We must learn from the lessons. We must learn from the errors, from the failures of our fathers and correct it. Because if the world look at us as people who killed their leaders, if the world look at us as people who have it all but yet are so poor, and we do not change the narrative during our time, posterity, our children and children's children will judge us. Ogoni Youth Empowerment Summit is an awakening. Ogoni Youth Empowerment Summit is a lonely voice in the wilderness. From the presentations here to those to come, It is all geared at changing our story. Empowerment is lifting you from where you are. Summit is discussing youth, young people. Now, when the debate on age was on, or who is a youth,